7:30.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Jeff Dudas from underwatertimes.com.
Joining us all the way from Miami today, Jeff Dudas. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, Wammo. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Hey, first up, a story, I guess that we're not too unfamiliar with these days. Sea animals helping out humans or other animals, in this case a dog.
Yeah, I mean, this seems that in this case it's with dolphins, and it seems like it's more and more these stories come along, and maybe it's becoming less and less news. But I still thought it was a pretty interesting story. This comes to out of Naples, Florida, which is on the Gulf Coast of Florida. A couple were going out fishing, and they live on one of these canals, and they were walking out, and they looked out, and they saw these dolphins, and these dolphins were in this one spot, and they were just sort of splashing around and making sort of flapping and splashing, and they just wouldn't stop, and it caught their attention. So they went out and took a closer look, and they were looking around, they saw these dolphins, and they looked over, and they saw this dog who was sitting out in the middle of this canal, sort of half submerged in water, sitting on a sandbar, and evidently this dog had fallen in the canal and couldn't get out and was just stuck. And so they called the fire department, and they got a rescue and all and such. And this poor dog, couldn't bark. They brought it on shore, couldn't stand up, and as it turned out, this dog had gone missing for like 12 hours. Its owner was out posting flyers looking for the dog, and sure enough, they found this dog, and the dog recovered, and all was well.
Oh, there you go. The dolphins and dogs not really related like seals and dogs are they?
Not that I know of, no. So this is I guess it's one of those things that the owner should have went out to the canal and looked for dolphins instead of.
Well,
it's an amazing story. Not to make light, but there's been stories over the years of dolphins rescuing fishermen and doing all sort of amazing things like this, alerting people to things going on.
And what do we do to them? We catch them in nets, butcher them,
throw them in aquariums and let them, all this stuff. But
exactly. I'm sure after this next story, though, there's not going to be a dry eye in the house involving whale song.
Yeah, they say one is the loneliest number, and for one whale is truly the case, because this whale is like no other whale in the world. It's a baleen whale, and it has a strange call such that no other whale in the world can hear it. Scientists have documented this whale, and it's emitting a call at a frequency of 52 hertz, which is just above the lowest note of a tuba. And as it turns out, the normal whale communication is at like 12 and 25 hertz. So this is broadcasting at a frequency that's totally unique, and which makes it, imagine if you were talking at a frequency no one else could hear. That's sort of what this whale is. So it has no friends, no mates, no family, and it just goes along, the oceans. That scientists documented, I think, first back in 1989, they first recorded this whale, and so it's been broadcasting at this message or at this frequency for all that time, and evidently still lonely.
So if you could hear it, it would be sort of
something like that, but but they're trying to figure out, well, why is this whale doing this? Maybe it's the last of its species. Maybe it was a mutation or just a one-of-a-kind whale. They don't really know, but it just still roams the ocean and putting out its call, and no one answers.
But I'd imagine, though, we could get some kind of instrument, though, right, that could pick up the sound, and then amplify it and turn it into something that we could hear.
Well, I guess for us to hear, I would guess it'd probably be more helpful for other whales to hear. But
well, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe we could. We could attach some kind of device to it, so that
exactly
could broadcast.
Put like a little hat on it or something that transmits and receives at different frequencies.
Exactly, beams it out across the oceans, and it could be this amazing song that unlocks some kind of cosmic connection between whales and humans and the earth and life and the meaning of everything.
That's a possibility. We'll see what happens. Maybe there'll be another story in a year or so.
Yeah. Indeed. Finally, some sharks making mental maps.
scientists have been tagging whales. Now this is becoming actually pretty interesting. Science, I should say, that all these sharks and whales are being tagged with these satellite taggers and acoustical pingers, and so they're figuring out all this interesting information on where they travel and how they travel and such. And the latest study is tiger sharks, they figured out, can actually form mental maps when they travel long distances. They just don't sort of meander. They go from point to point, maybe up to 50 kilometers in search of food. And using this analysis with all these tags, they figured out, hey, they're actually pretty smart and know the route where other sharks don't. It's like blacktip sharks is sort of wander around and look for food, and thresher sharks, maybe they can, they have like a mental map, maybe not so much as a tiger shark. But they definitely figured out that these sharks definitely know where they're going. They're going on a set route to find food.
Oh, interesting stuff. Well, those stories you'll find up at underwatertimes.com. And Jeff, we thank you very much for that, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Jeff Dudas there. It's now 23 minutes past 7. Got a track here from Bleak House, one here called Most Important.